thank you so much for joining us today on
Pharm Girls.
We want to thank you again. We've gotten a lot of great support and feedback about the podcast, so thank you so much for tuning in and listening to us.
Yeah.
And letting us know what you like about it.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about today?
We have a lot of things that we're talking about today. I'm super excited about the show. We're going to talk about what the heck the NPA is doing.
Yes. We're going to have some questions from a couple of people that have written into us.
Yeah. We're going to have some farm facts. That's right. Go ahead.
Oh, we also have a VIP, very important pharmacist, Charles Tomlinson.
Yes.
That'll be joining us.
Yeah. We're going to share the upcoming events for the NPA as well.
Yep. And then we've got a couple of jokes for you also.
Yeah. They're decent jokes. Well, way better jokes than the last podcast. That was really bad.
I laughed at the last one.
Well, there were people that told me that the joke that I had selected was inappropriate, so I had to go with a different joke.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you felt like it was a B joke.
Yes. And big thanks to the Nebraska Pharmacy Corporation for being today's podcast sponsor.
Yes.
And we'll talk a little bit more about the corporation.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we doing? So we say that what we do at the NPA is we advocate, we educate, and we connect.
Right.
So what does that mean? I mean, we say that it's things that we're doing every day, but one of the things is advocating for the profession of pharmacy. And what does that mean?
Yeah, I don't like that word. It's a big and intimidating word. Most people are like, oh, they advocate. What does that mean?
Yeah.
So we looked it up. Yeah, and we looked for synonyms, and we found words like protect, represent, and support. And I think those are better words to kind of describe what the Nebraska Pharmacists Association does for its pharmacist, pharmacy intern, and pharmacy technician members, that we protect, represent, and support them.
Right.
Yeah.
In so many different ways.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about some of the ways that we do that.
Yeah. Well, for example, I recently had a conversation with the leadership at Nebraska Medicaid advocating, representing pharmacy and asking them that in the next round of contracts that the managed care organizations, that they pay pharmacies a professional dispensing fee for every prescription that is dispensed. And just like in Iowa, the managed care organization cannot negotiate a smaller dispensing fee. So in Iowa, every pharmacy is getting paid, $10, around $10 per prescription to provide the pharmacy services. So that's an important thing that I asked Medicaid for, along with the ability for a pharmacist in Medicaid to provide services and bill for those. So I've asked our Medicaid department if they will enroll pharmacists as providers. So,
nice.
Yeah, that way they can.
That's a big thing.
It is a big thing. It's a really big thing. Medicare patients, Medicare pays for them to sit down with a pharmacist once a year to review all of their medications. And I thought, wouldn't that be great if we could, in our Medicaid program, provide the same services to our Medicaid patients and get pharmacists paid for that. So that's what one of the things that we've done most recently.
Another one is HRSA.
Yes.
Funding for COVID. So tell us a little bit about that.
Right. And this is kind of hot off the press. So HRSA is the branch of the federal government that actually provided funding for uninsured or underinsured patients to get tested for COVID, to get vaccinated for COVID, and to receive COVID treatments. And evidently the money has run out at the federal level.
Really, anyone can go into the pharmacy, get this done, and it's no cost to them.
Right.
But pharmacists, obviously we need to make sure that they're getting reimbursed for doing all of these things, which has been a big ask really for pharmacies during COVID. So.
Absolutely. Even just the vaccinations.
Right.
That has taken a lot of time, and our pharmacists and our technicians and our interns are happy to do it and happy to provide the service. But, you still have to pay your folks to provide the services. And, even though you may receive a vial of vaccine at no cost, it doesn't, you still have to provide a syringe and a Band-Aid and, a place and the time, absolutely, to provide those services. So that's one thing that we have been watching, and, we have been in contact with HRSA and asked them in conjunction with the national organizations and asked them to continue making payment for these services so that we can continue to provide them to patients. So that's pretty big.
And another one, provider status in Medicare B.
Yeah, ASHP and APhA, the national organizations, have joined forces with all the state pharmacy associations to go to Congress and say, Congress, CMS, we want to be able to have pharmacists be recognized as providers under Medicare Part B. And that's really big. So yeah, that's some of the things that we've been doing on a national level to advocate for pharmacy.
Right. So another big one that's been lately is representing NPA at the APhA, meeting with ASHP, NCPA, and APhA.
It is like alphabet soup. There. Yeah. That's like alphabet soup. But yeah, I did get to go to APhA and join some of the Nebraskan pharmacists and students there at APhA. It was a really, it was a great meeting. We had a great time in San Antonio.
Right.
And got to meet pharmacists from all over the country. I had the opportunity to meet with other people that are running state pharmacy associations. Right. Got some great ideas from them. And I think it's important for people in Nebraska to know that we're not out there alone, and that every month, every week, pretty much we are meeting with one or the other of the national pharmacy organizations. So we know what's going on a national level, and in return, we're telling them what's going on in Nebraska. Right. So we meet with ASHP, we meet with APhA and with NCPA, and today met with NACDS. So all of the national organizations we meet with on a regular basis to exchange information and learn what's going on.
Yeah. And a lot of times, too, when we're trying to do legislative things, it's good to know what other states are doing so that we can say, hey, these other states are doing this and it's working for them.
Yes.
So
we can certainly learn from other states. Absolutely.
Right. And I feel like all of these are big. I keep saying these are all big, but working conditions.
Oh, boy.
So that's another one right now that's kind of a hot topic, and we get a lot of people who reach out to us about that, and that's something that you can reach out to us about if you want to talk to someone about working conditions where you're at. So tell us a little bit about that and what some of the concerns are that employees are having.
Yeah, I'm very proud of the board of directors, the NPA board of directors, for supporting an effort where, for those pharmacists that are struggling and feel like maybe they don't have enough help,
right?
Or they, and it really boils down to not having enough staff,
right?
So that a pharmacist can take a lunch break or go to the bathroom, or
things that we think are pretty normal in a job,
right? Things that you don't take for granted, things you assume your employer is going to provide you,
right.
But when a pharmacist is focused on one task, maybe in a community pharmacy, for example, just verifying prescriptions, and they don't get an opportunity to talk to patients. I want to hear from our pharmacists. I want to know what the working conditions are like. And if they're not okay, that we approach large employers and call them out and say, this is not okay and it needs to be fixed. So that is something that we're doing right now, is representing pharmacists, technicians, and interns, no matter where they work.
Right.
So we're encouraging them to reach out to us and let us know how we can help them improve their working conditions.
Right. So the next thing is connecting people.
Yeah.
So we have different NPA work groups. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
We have a lot of work groups going on, and sometimes the work groups have resulted in legislation or changes in policies or new programs. So it's been very exciting. And this is getting a group of like-minded individuals together. So for example, right now we just started a pharmacy technician work group.
Right.
And Amy, you were there for the meeting. What kinds of things did they talk about?
So technicians are looking for more things. So things they can do in the pharmacy to add on to the profession that they already have. So they want to have more tasks to be able to do, something that's going to help them grow in the profession. I think also making sure, I think that they're recognized as that this is a career. It's not just a job, but it's a career. They're important in the pharmacy. And so I think like everyone else right now, they want to be recognized and heard, know, about what they need in the pharmacy also.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're a team for sure, pharmacists and technicians. We, can't have one without the other, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And help take care of our patients. So I'm glad that the pharmacy technicians were able to get together and kind of talk about what they like about their job and and some things that they'd like to see improved. So another work group that we have going is transitions of care. We all know that errors can occur when a patient is moved from one facility to the next, whether that be from a hospital to a skilled nursing facility or a skilled nursing facility to home. That handoff can be rough sometimes. And what we really need is pharmacists talking to pharmacists about that and giving that handoff. So the transition of care work group has been meeting and talking about how can we solve the problem with pharmacy and pharmacists, and what kinds of resources are available to all of us so that we can take better care of our patients when they're in transitions of care.
Right. And another one is provider status.
Yes. I'm really, really proud of the work that Katie Riesbig and that particular work group has done in not expanding the scope of practice in pharmacy. I don't think that's what anybody on the work group is looking for, is for us to change a law so that pharmacists can prescribe medications, for example. The work group is really focusing on those amazing things that pharmacists are already doing, maybe under a collaborative practice agreement or pharmaceutical care agreement, and highlighting how they are helping others on the healthcare team take care of patients. So super excited. We're going to be meeting with that group here shortly. And I think we're going to be moving forward with some really neat initiatives with the provider status group.
Great. Yeah. And then you touched a little bit about other state associations and how we kind of work with them.
Yeah, I love connecting with the other state pharmacy associations because we've got an event coming up where we're going to have invite students from Minnesota, Iowa, and Wisconsin for a little bit of learning from the financial pharmacists.
Nice.
Yeah, for our new grads. So we're going to combine forces with our states, and we're going to do some education. The other states have told us what they're doing legislative-wise and other things that they're doing for their members that their members like. So, learning a lot from other pharmacy associations. Super important.
Okay, and then the last thing is educating. Yeah. So one of the things is the COVID community calls, which happens right now every Tuesday, but happened even more when COVID was really rampant.
Well, we recognize that, our pharmacists and interns and technicians, they can't necessarily leave work for an hour-long webinar, even if it's just once a week. But this is a call that we have attended regularly on behalf of our members to keep current on what's going on with COVID in Nebraska. The people that are on this particular call include super smart physicians and healthcare professionals that are treating patients that have COVID. It includes the health departments, and
state officials.
Yes, absolutely. People with the Department of Health and Human Services, and what's going on with COVID in Nebraska, what's going on with vaccination. We've learned, from the very beginning, testing and treatment. And so, we're there to listen in and absorb that information, and we often share that information, that what we learn in the Daily News Dose.
Yeah. So another thing is the Mortar and Pestle, which is the publication that we put out. If you're a member, then you have free access to that. So it's another great thing about being a member. Yeah. And in that, you can do CE. So there's articles in there that you can get CE hours for. Right now, we've had 6 that have been published so far this year. Yeah. So tell us what some of those are.
Yeah. So the 6 articles that we have ready to go for continuing education this year, that we've already put out, were approved for continuing education for both pharmacists and technicians. So it covered topics like migraine, schizophrenia, anxiety, substance use disorder, Lyme disease, and obesity. So all hot topics and all current information.
Yeah, current for sure. Yeah. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we've got a couple questions from a couple different people. And remember, if you send in a question, you get a free tumbler. So Taylor and Raj are both going to get a free tumbler. We'll send those out to you. So Taylor's question question, which kind of had to do with advocacy, is what is the NPA doing to fight DIR fees and PBMs?
Yeah, that's a great question. So as far as DIR fees are concerned, we have spoken to members of Congress. We have combined our efforts with other national organizations to address CMS and DIR fees. As we all know, DIR fees are specific to Medicare claims. And I think we're making some progress on the national level with DIR fees, at least such that when a pharmacy adjudicates a claim, they will know right then and there whether they're going to lose money on the claim and not have to wait until the plan claws back money. So we have advocated for the pharmacies and pharmacists and interns and techs here in Nebraska to do something about DIR fees. And on the national level. And PBMs, we certainly have had great success this year in our PBM legislation, which was signed by the governor and will go into effect 90 days after the end of the session, which requires the pharmacy benefit managers in Nebraska to register with the Department of Insurance and gives pharmacies some audit protections and some pricing transparency. And there is some information in the bill that covers 340B medications as well as specialty pharmacies and not preferring a PBM-owned specialty pharmacy. So hopefully we can keep those prescriptions in Nebraska and filled by Nebraska pharmacies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then Raj's question, which came up earlier also, was what are your thoughts on the most common reasons causing burnout in our profession? And what are some of the ways we can combat burnout or advance the profession to limit this? Which again has been a big topic.
Yeah, it's been
recently.
A huge topic. Yeah, it has. Because it's become so common.
Yeah.
Pharmacists and technicians and interns have, the amount of work that everybody's been given, no matter where you're practicing, has been doubled, tripled with COVID.
Right.
And, one thing for sure that I know, I heard a researcher from Duke University talk about burnout in particular with pharmacists. And the one thing that pharmacists can do that decreases burnout is spending time taking care of patients. It's the other tasks that we all get bogged down with that tend to cause us burnout.
Right.
It's the the computer stuff, it's the documentation stuff, it's the billing stuff, it's the whatever. Whenever we're not talking to patients, those are the tasks that really tend to wear on us. Right. So, the way to combat burnout for sure is do whatever you can at your practice site to spend more time caring for patients. It's more rewarding, and that will definitely help with burnout. If you're in a practice where it's not conducive to taking care of patients and talking to patients, you need to make a change. And That's important because that's the good stuff. That's why we all got into pharmacy, was to help patients. So if I had, if you have a job that you can't do that, it really wouldn't be very rewarding.
No. Yeah. And if that's one of the important factors to you,
then,
it
is.
You definitely need to.
According to research.
Right. So.
And it makes sense.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Okay, so again, if you have questions, you can send them into info@npharm.org or go to the Pharm Girls Facebook page. Shoot us the message there, or you can always call Marcia too to ask a question. And again, don't forget you get the free tumbler if you send us in a question that we read on the air.
Yeah.
And now it's time for Pharm Facts. So today, the Food and Drug Administration was established in the beginning of the 20th century. So when all manner of druggish, concoctions were marketed, which I don't know if any of us want to think that we have concocted druggish things that we're taking, but were marketed in mass. This was the era of patent medicines, a time when charlatans hawked cure-all snake oil tonics. So you can imagine the guy with the briefcase folding out with all sorts of tonics to do your cures. Elixirs, yeah. So one drug, for example, was marketed as a post-surgical antiseptic, then a floor cleaner, which we thought maybe it spilled on the floor.
Maybe.
And then they were like, well, look at that, just cleaned up that surgical floor.
Blood right there.
Yeah,
got it right off of the tile.
Then somehow they figured out it was a cure for gonorrhea.
Oh.
before it finally succeeded as a breath freshener.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. So all those things, and then you put it in your mouth. Today, you can still buy Listerine.
What?
Yeah, in pretty much any pharmacy when you need to amp up your oral hygiene. So don't you miss the days when your floor cleaner could double as your mouthwash. So nobody at home drink any floor cleaner, though.
No,
please. Yeah.
no. I suppose you could scrub your floors with Listerine if you wanted to.
Yeah,
but
maybe that's the better. Yeah. Get the plaque right off your floors. So today we have very important pharmacist, Charles Tomlinson.
Yes.
And Charles is the co-owner of Via RX and Beyond Dispensing.
Yeah.
He's been married for 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah, good job. And 3 children that are all currently in college, which is also a big money.
That's a big
suck.
deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. No wonder he has to have 2 jobs. At least
2 pharmacies.
Yeah, my manager will be talking about my royalties on this one.
He's probably going to have to make up the time for being away from the store, being away from the pharmacy while he's talking to us on the podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's going to have to stay late.
So thank you so much for joining us today, Charles.
Yeah.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Yes, you bet. So we have some questions for you.
Okay.
As our VIP, we would like to know, so when did you know you wanted to go into pharmacy?
Many moons ago, back in the late 90s or early 90s, I basically went to the University of Nebraska, and I knew I wanted to do something in the healthcare arena. I really wasn't sure if I wanted to become a physician or what I kind of wanted to do. And so, long story short, my wife's uncle was a pharmacist and an attorney for Eli Lilly. And so one day we're just basically hanging around and said, "Oh, Charles, you need to become a pharmacist." I'm like, I didn't really know much about the profession. I didn't know, kind of what it really truly entailed. But the more I kind of got to know him and his kind of colleagues and just started learning more about really what the profession was, that's how I kind of got into it. And so I thought, you know what? Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. And I kind of like the idea, too, of not always being on call all the time. And some of those kind of other things was the initial keyword thought process. Yeah, so I applied for pharmacy school in 1994 and graduated in 98 at the University of Nebraska system.
Yeah, awesome.
Nice. So what school did you go to then?
The University of Nebraska, UNMC.
Oh, UNMC. Okay, perfect. I wasn't sure if that was one in.
Yeah, I kid people. So I'll give you a little bit more background. I always kid people that there's no education really outside of Dodge Street. I grew up in Dundee. I went to Dundee Elementary, Lewis and Clark, Central, UNO, UNMC, and now I have a pharmacy on 825 North 90th. So somehow these people from Harvard, false, phony, faux.
If it's not on Dodge, it's not worth it.
Yeah, if it's
Right.
not on Dodge, you didn't learn anything.
You didn't learn a thing.
So tell us about your first job and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah.
Okay. First pharmacy job, I assume, right? So, you know what? Got out of school, I think, slinging, groceries was the first one. But long story short is, you know what? I went through my rotations just like everybody else. And, back in the late 90s, they were almost hiring you on your second rotation. It was such a shortage at the time of pharmacists. And so you kind of got the pick of the litter kind of thing of what you wanted to do. So I had interned at Walgreens for a long time and enjoyed that, but I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. And during some of my rotations, I really enjoyed geriatrics and consultative services. So I literally took my first job was over at Omnicare in 1998, and I worked with them for about 4 years, I would say it was. And really enjoyed it. Became the chief clinical officer after about the second year. And we grew and we grew and we grew and we grew. And that was great. But then, that crazy thing called life kicked in. And my wife and I had already had one child, but then all of a sudden we had twins. And I was putting in way too many hours to begin with. And it was just at the time, it just wasn't a good situation in the sense of being able to lower my workload in a certain aspect. So eventually we had to part ways, and I ended up actually working at J&J. Did that for 10 years. Did kind of what was kind of their area of business specialty work. And then that kind of got morphed into sales for a while, and then it got changed to the end of clinical services. So that was kind of an interesting ride as well. And then our division actually got canned by the company. And so I found myself basically unemployed on a Friday. I had 10 offers, though, by a Monday. So over the 10 years, I had made enough friends and enough acquaintances that people were calling me saying, hey, you want a job? Here's this, here's that. And so I was like, I don't know really what I want to do. And so, I told my wife, I said, and I had been moonlighting here, there in pharmacy. I said, I just want to go back to pharmacy. I said, straight out old fashioned pharmacy. And so, we had talked about it. And one of the people that I had worked with during my J&J years, he had a friend that was really interested in building a pharmacy. And so literally one day I got a call from him, and he said, would you be interested in, maybe helping me find someone who would start up this pharmacy? And I said, well, you're looking for a name? He goes, no, we already have the name. I'm like, well, who's the name? And of course it's my name, right? And I'm like, okay, hold on. So then I said, okay, so I guess I'm going to start my midlife crisis now. I'm going to start a pharmacy at like age 42 or something. And so, but the more I kept looking at it, it's like, gosh, we really have this need in Omaha for a place that's outside of everybody else's kind of institutionalized pharmacy. And not that those are wrong in any sense, but I just thought there was still that niche for, if you can do it in Pawnee City, if you can do it in Ord, if you can do it in North Platte, why can't we do it in Omaha? And you look around, and there's very few entrepreneurial pharmacists in our city. So I said, okay. So I didn't buy a sports car. I bought a pharmacy. And so we started this almost coming up on 10 years next year. And it's been absolutely a huge, huge professional delight. I've learned more again about the profession. I feel like I've gotten reschooled on things too, where it's like, until you actually run your own business too, there's things that you really do not know what goes on in the background. And then you're like, oh, now that makes sense of why we always did this, or those other things, and the stresses that come with it too. But there's definitely a lot of rewards. And I would say the best thing about the pharmacies that we've created has been the ability to interact with the patients. I mean, the only real reason to be the pharmacist is to interact with patients. I mean, hands down, it's great to see their faces. It's great to take care of them. And that's a privilege.
What do you love about being an independent pharmacy owner? But I think you answered that.
Yeah. I just like being able to be able to take care of the patient directly. And I mean, there's a lot of value to that. And then really, still being an independent pharmacist, I would say most independent pharmacists probably work with a select few providers. And so you get to know your providers very well as well. And it just becomes that symbiotic relationship. I believe there's truly a triangle between the patient, the pharmacist, and the provider. And if those three are clicking, you usually get good care. If it's kind of discombobulated, then it's probably going to have some problems.
Yeah.
Now, which pharmacy did you open first?
Via RX. So we got into compounding kind of the back doorway. We hadn't, we were kind of just mixing some creams here or there kind of thing, but we are located right next to a major pain clinic. And so during the start of the opioid crisis, we kept trying to find other solutions to try and help offer up, what else can you choose? What else can someone try so that we're not raising someone's MME on their morphines and that kind of stuff. And so we got into it pain-wise, which really was kind of the genesis, but then it started growing and growing. And then we didn't realize, again, this is kind of where you grow up by default. All of a sudden, I couldn't believe all the people that were coming to the clinic and then coming to the pharmacy, then asking, well, do you do this hormone cream? Do you do that hormone cream? Do you do, well, no, but we could. So then we knew we were getting bigger than our space kind of allotted. And with all the changes that were coming down the pike with the USP 800 and the 795, we knew we didn't want to do 797. So we just wanted to basically do, a non-sterile, hazardous, non-hazardous, and just do basic old-fashioned pharmacy. So we built another pharmacy out in Bellevue that just does compounding and does some other things, but its basic goal is compounding.
Okay. And are you at both pharmacies as a pharmacist?
I am, but not all the time. Right now, in fact, we just actually changed the pharmacist in charge over there just like 2 weeks ago so that we can kind of be better focused. So I got Kristen McCauley over there, and she's in charge of the pharmacy now. So it's just a great thing.
I bet it is. Well, and one thing we haven't mentioned yet is that you are also on the board of pharmacy. So has that been an enriching experience? I mean, has that been eye-opening?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. I think it kind of goes back to the serving thing too. And I think, I was at a stage in my life when I was approached by it. I'm like, again, my kids are kind of out. I've got nights. I've kind of got the weekends back. I've got time to kind of give back. And to me, again, it's a good way for me to give back. But long story short, that's how I got into it. And now I'm actually the chairman this year. And so I got 4 more years on the term, and I do find it very, very educational, and it really makes you kind of go back to some of those folks that might be a little bit older, the Ron Hospodka days, where you're in class, and well, do you go this way or do you go that way? And you're thinking, it is great, and what could be done or what should be done, and overall, I feel like that's a really good experience for anyone who can do it. If you can devote the time. It's not that much time, and I think it does enrich you as a profession in your profession.
Well, I'm grateful for your ability to use all of your experience and your professional judgment on the board of pharmacy. That's invaluable. So thank you for your service to our profession, that's for sure.
So we've got a non-pharmacy question here for you. So you had said that for fun outside of the pharmacy, you like to go hunting and travel. Mm-hmm. So what has been one of your favorite places to go as far as traveling?
The best trip that I can think of was my wife and I's 25th wedding anniversary. We actually took our kids too. So we spent 3 weeks in Greece and in Germany. It was literally, picture perfect. The whole thing went without a hitch. It's kind of one of those things when you got home, you're like, wow, nothing went wrong. The airlines were actually on time. The food was warm.
You got your baggage in.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So you witnessed a miracle? Is that what you're saying? You witnessed a miracle.
Yes, I witnessed a miracle. My wife and I talk about windows opening and closing in life a lot. And, we did that in 2018. And with, 2020 and 2021 and the COVID, we had plans for some other things that we were going to try and do. And it's like, you just never know. So we were glad we just did that thing, and it was good for our kids too. So,
yeah.
Good. Yeah. Once in a lifetime for sure.
No kidding. Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay.
All right.
We're going to play a game.
Okay.
All right. This is great. I'm so excited.
Okay.
And just so you know,
I win no matter what.
Yeah. I'm probably not going to know whether your answer is correct or not, but I'm going to take that you guys are going to play this fairly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right?
Yeah.
We're going to work together as a team.
If you have any disputes or if there's anything, just send it to the board of pharmacy and they'll review it.
Okay. They'll tell us.
Care of Sabrina Brack.
Yeah.
I'll see.
Recuse myself.
If I can get a timer on here.
Oh.
No, I'll get you here.
All right.
Here, I got you.
You got it?
I think.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Because we're going to see how many we can do in a minute.
Yes. You know what we're going to do is we're going to take turns, starting with letter A, and Amy's going to give us a letter.
Yep.
And just say the first drug, brand name or generic, that comes to your mind. Let's see how many letters we can get through.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Are we ready?
Ready.
And we're going to start.
Charles is going to start. He's
going to start. Okay.
He's the A.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on
Sure.
1 second. Okay. Ready and A.
Ajovi.
B.
Oh my gosh. I'm freezing. Bactrim.
C.
Okay. Cataflam.
D.
Diazopril.
E.
EpiPen.
F.
Flexeril.
G.
Gabapentin.
H.
Vitamin H.
Vitamin H Haldol.
Thank you.
That was good.
I.
Indomethacin.
Oh, we actually went over a minute now.
Already?
That's how fast it goes.
No.
Yeah.
No, well, let's keep going.
Okay.
I? Did you do I?
I.
I said indomethacin, I think.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, Jay. I can't think of one.
Help.
Januvia.
Oh, yeah, he's good.
He's good.
K.
Keppra.
Oh, no, that was just a minute.
L.
Lisinopril.
M.
Motrin.
N.
Nadolol.
O.
Olanzapine.
P.
Propranolol.
Q.
Q-typine.
R. I can't remember my alphabet.
Restoril.
S.
Seroquel.
T.
Tenormin.
U.
Ubrelvy.
V.
Valium.
X.
X. Oh, Xanax.
Y.
Yaz.
Z.
Zolpidem.
Good job.
Yeah, it took me a while to get dialed in there. I had to warm up.
It's the B's. It's always the B's.
It's
They're
the
not
B's.
the fast track.
Also, I couldn't remember the alphabet, so that wasn't helping. You want to make sure you have someone who knows the alphabet.
Well, okay, yeah. So next time we'll put it on the note cards.
I'll have just a note card of the alphabet, so I know what I'm doing.
You did great. You did great.
Thanks.
Yeah. I noticed that we both named some very old drugs, by the way.
You know what? I know we got Januvia in there. We got Ubrelvy.
Ubrelvy,
what else do we have?
Yeah.
There's a couple other, Trieds and trues.
Oh, hydrocodone,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what someone said, but
Yeah.
Well, Charles gave me a prompt.
oh, he did.
Yes, yes.
Oh, that's good.
Vitamin H.
Vitamin H.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I knew a physician who used to say, be wary of the patient who is allergic to Haldol.
Yeah.
Rule 52 of Dr. Blank, you'll never be able to treat them.
That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Oh, my goodness. Well, thank you so much for doing this, Charles. It was so good to see you and spend a little time and learn a little bit more about you and your family. And thank you for being our guest. We really appreciate you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it too. I wish you guys the best. Thank you.
And thank you for being a Narcan.
Oh, absolutely. That's a great program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. It sounds like especially the Dodge Street store is doing leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you guys are doing really good work over there and taking care of patients. So
Yeah, it's a really easy one to marry up too, because I mean, you can really look back really quick, see if they've had something within a year, and if they haven't, it's good to go.
Right. And especially, being next door to a pain clinic.
Yes.
That's, kind of
Oh, yeah.
want to make sure. So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so
And
much.
people have used them too. So we've had some.
Yeah.
Oh, you have? Okay.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah,
If you had any.
I know I've signed off on, I think, 2 forms where it was someone had to use it. So that's a good thing.
Okay.
Wow, that is a good thing. Saving lives. Look at you. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even 5, but
Yeah. All in a day's work.
Right.
all in a day's work, yes. Well,
Well,
thank you again
for joining us.
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks, Charles. Take care, and we'll see you
You're welcome.
soon.
See you soon. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, so next we're going to talk about events that we have coming up.
Yeah.
Which we've had some great events in the past that have been well attended. So we highly encourage people to always look at the events that we have going on. There's all sorts of fun topics that are always happening. So we want to thank everyone who joined us for those, and make sure you check out the events that are coming up. So what's something that we have coming up next?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The one of the next events is on Tuesday, May 3rd. We're going to have David Cecil from Johnson & Johnson. He's a policy wonk. So he's always watching what's going on in Washington, D.C. as far as healthcare policy and states as well.
Right.
And he's going to offer a healthcare policy update. And it's called What's Going On in D.C. and Nebraska and How It May Affect You.
Yes.
So that virtual event's going to be at 7:15 on Tuesday, May 3rd.
Perfect. And then we've got another one, Tuesday, May 10th. This is also a virtual event. It is at noon. And this one is a tech event that Jerome, who's on our board, is going to be doing. Tell us a little bit more about what that is.
Yeah, this is going to be a really great session. It's going to be accredited for CE.
Okay, perfect.
And it is about technicians, but it's really, technicians may or not really be the audience for this presentation. Jerome's going to share some of the secrets of his success in recruiting and retaining quality technicians.
Right.
And how to help them with their career growth.
Right.
And professional development. Right. So it's going to be really good. So anybody who is managing technicians or is working with technicians, this would really be a great program for you to attend.
Right. And, and even though it might not be a program for technicians, it really is going to help them, though, that their employers can know what they can do for them. So, so that'll be a great one. Yeah, Tuesday, May 10th at noon. Mm-hmm. Another exciting one we have coming up is the ACE Tour. We're calling it.
Yes.
Coming to an area near you.
Near you, yes. We're getting out there.
So in June, we're going to start traveling throughout the state to bring you the Advocate, Connect, Educate Tour.
Yeah.
And that is going to be sponsored by Atsuka.
Mm-hmm.
And so tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we've got some professionals from Atsuka that are going to come, and they're going to give us some really great information on a couple different topics. Mm-hmm. They have some psychiatric topics that they're going to cover and some topics in nephrology.
Okay.
They're going to offer, it's going to be a great dinner.
Yeah.
Delicious dinner program.
Yep.
Yeah, free dinner.
Nice.
Program. We're going to be there. We're going to talk about what's going on with the NPA. So we're really excited about this tour because we are taking our show on the road.
That's right.
We are going to be in the Scottsbluff area on June 14th.
Mm-hmm. And then North Platte on June 28th.
Yep, we plan to be in Hastings on July 12th.
And then Lincoln, where we're from, on July 19th.
Yeah, and we're going to meet folks up in Norfolk on July 26th. So.
And then our last one will be in Omaha on August 9th. So we're excited. We'll also, as we're doing that, we're going to be doing some pharmacy visits too, which will be great to get out and finally see people again.
Yeah.
Because now that we're used to seeing everyone from the waist up, we might actually...
we can't wear sweatpants to this, can we?
Right. Actually, I have to tell a funny. So we were at one of our events that we were doing. It was an in-person.
Yeah.
And Mackenzie, that was on our last show, showed up. And I was like, I thought she was like 5'11" or something. I'd only seen her from the waist up, but she seemed like a tall person to me, and she was shorter than me, which I'm short. I'm 5'3". So I was, it's very odd to see people actually in person nowadays.
Yes, and you can't
and without the mask, you're like, you look really familiar. And you're like, oh yeah, without the mask on.
That's right.
Yeah, now you can tell who they are.
Yeah, so we're going to be live and in person. We're looking forward to that, getting across the state and visiting hospitals and pharmacies as we go.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
So you can find all the events on the NPA Facebook page or on the events calendar at npharm.org. So on our website, Diane does a great job of keeping the calendar up to date. So there's always the events on there. Also, if you're a member of the NPA, it's also, we promote those in the Daily Dose email that you get Monday through Friday. But always check out Facebook pages and LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram and all the other things.
We're out there.
Yeah. So we want to thank our sponsor today, which again is Nebraska Pharmacist Corporation.
Right.
So tell us a little bit more about what the corporation does.
Right. Well, the Nebraska Pharmacist Corporation is part of the NPA.
Right.
And it was organized to provide pharmacy group purchasing services specifically for independent pharmacies.
Right.
It also provides some research and marketing activities and services, as well as promotes publications and seminars. So the Pharmacist Corporation endorses Pharmacist Mutual, who's one of our partners. And Pharmacist Mutual is a great place for people to purchase their professional liability insurance. They now offer it for technicians.
Nice.
Okay. Yes. So for professional liability insurance, a policy that covers you no matter where you are. Right. That's an important thing. And the corporation also supports PACE Alliance, which is a group of 19 states that did some work for group purchasing and now are partners with the Independent Pharmacy Cooperative and McKesson.
Nice. Okay.
Yep. PACE Alliance promotes programs and services that help independent pharmacies compete in the marketplace.
Right.
So, PACE Alliance is really important. And believe it or not, it is the largest community pharmacy buying group in the country.
Wow.
Yes. So big.
Yeah, it is big. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so one thing we had also was we had a listener who emailed us and was like, I wanted to sort of update some information that we had given on the tech presentation in episode 2.
Episode 2, right.
So they were saying they had a correction. They wanted, or a clear up maybe, to clear up that for pharmacy technicians, the registration process is not 100% online yet. So the application is available online, but you still have to send that in with the fee. So you do have to mail that in.
Right.
It'll probably be another 6 months to a year before it can be paid online, which would be helpful nowadays. But that is kind of an update on that. And if you do catch something that we say and you're like, are you guys sure about that? Feel free to email us and let us know, and we can definitely do an update on that.
Absolutely. We love doing updates.
Right.
Another alert listener noticed that in our last podcast, we mentioned ice cream 3 times.
Yeah.
And, in all honesty, I don't think that's a big deal. And I just think that listener needs to mind her own business, Mare.
And we can say that because she's our friend.
It's true. It's true.
But now I kind of want some ice cream again.
I know.
We didn't mention it once today.
Not
till now.
Not till now.
Yeah. So we might just slide it in each time. So we'd also have a few jokes.
Yes.
So Caitlin McManaman,
yes,
who is also on our board, she sent us some jokes. So if you have jokes,
we need
send them in. Yeah,
send them to us.
It's kind of hard for us to find jokes sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you call a tiny fish riding a bike?
Minnow cycling. I think that's adorable. I do.
Only pharmacists.
It paints a picture. It's so cute.
Okay, and then how did the pharmacy student learn more about clarithromycin?
By asking. By accent. Get it? Yeah. Thank you to Caitlin for sending those to us. Those are good.
Those were
I
good.
like them.
And she gave us some more. So
yeah.
So we might be getting some more out. So we want to thank you all again for joining us.
Yeah.
Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Podcastics, or your favorite podcast site. If you follow us on Podcastics, it will let you know when the new episodes arrive.
Yes.
We always post on everything. And we just started an Instagram also. So so follow us on Instagram also.
Yeah, we're like out there everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, we're pretty kind of a big deal.
We are. It's true. Well, to us.
Yeah, to us. To the two of us, we are. So thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Yes.
And we will see you next time.
All right. On
Pharm Girls.